Our Tri-State Office Furniture tweet of the day, Pittsburgh Dad. Thanks for the shout out, Aaron Rodgers. I'd say we'll leave the light on here for you, 2022, but that'll just run up our electric bill. Pat McAfee had Aaron Rodgers. That was a pretty good interview. We're going to run some of it tonight on our 11 o'clock news on KDKA. So, Pony, we'll continue our Steelers discussion, and we'll go out to the phone lines. We got Waylon out in Washington. How you doing, Waylon?
Hi, Rich. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, Willen.
Hey, just come and think briefly, I'm listening to our coach, Tomlin, and he's saying, they did this better and they did that better, and we didn't do this and we didn't do that. Well, they had all week to prepare for him, and they didn't. Roethlisberger didn't even go to a practice, or play in a practice.
You know what? I hate to pick apart Tomlin real quick, but the fact that they didn't have any plays, that was maybe the biggest thing that bothered me that he said in the postgame.
No doubt. It was an indictment on Matt Canada. It threw the new coordinator right under the bus and made him look incompetent. I thought our buddy Will Graves, who occasionally appears on the award-winning Sports Showdown, which is a great show. Richie, you occasionally host it and do an awesome job. I thought he asked a very fair question to Tomlin today. You never score on your opening drive. You almost never score in the first quarter. Why doesn't your quarterback practice on Wednesdays? And I thought Tomlin gave an answer that boggled the mind. He said he's old. He's afforded that right. We don't want him, banged up, or we don't want him to run out of gas late in the year. And then he said this: we want to give Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins practice reps. And what I think is just totally insane about that is Tomlin is always the guy that says, we don't worry about tomorrow. We don't worry about yesterday. All we're worrying about is the present. So in that breath, he's saying it's an advantage to us that we're getting Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins ready for some point down the road. Richie, when your scripted plays never work, don't you think it might be a good idea to, I don't know, have the quarterback out there with the rest of the offense practicing those plays? Am I nuts with that?
No.
I thought that was a great question by Will.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers practiced every Wednesday last year in Indy. Every single one. Tom Brady never sits out a Wednesday. Why is it too much to ask Ben to practice? Why? They're not getting hit on Wednesdays. He's the quarterback. He's got a red jersey on.
Yeah, and that's maybe the biggest practice of the week, Wednesday, when you start your install. I don't understand because, look, they're out there for 2 hours. How many balls is Ben throwing when he's in practice on Wednesday?
Richie, it's about him getting on the same page with a young offense. If they were coming out and scoring touchdowns to start games, I would say no big deal. But they're not. They are woefully awful at it. So I don't know why the coach refuses to change it up. It's almost like he has a handshake deal with Ben where they told him if he re-signed, he'd never practice on Wednesdays ever again.
Do you think they want him to come back next year? Do you think the Steel inside those doors?
Richie, I don't know. I honestly, looking at him right now, you and me on the outside, although you're a little bit closer to the situation, our eyes tell us he's declining. Why would he want to come back? But who knows? If he says to them, hey, I'll play for $15 million next year, give me another year in this offense, give me some new offensive linemen, give me another year with Najee, maybe they say yes. That's not a crazy thought to me that they would give in and say, all right, Ben, we kind of threw you to the wolves this year. We'll give you another shot in 2022.
Let's go out to Jamie in the Hill District. How you doing, Jamie?
Yes, I'm a huge Steelers fan, but some of the fans I've talked to remind me of the parents and the kids that live next door to me. Every time the kid is suspended or the police bring him home, what do the parents say? Oh, he's a good kid. Y'all just don't like him. No, your kids are just bad, and they're going to be bad for a long time. And this is the Steelers organization from the brass to the bottom.
Well, Pony, I think Steelers fans have been pretty harsh on Ben recently in this offense. They want to see winners out there, right? You see Heinz Field.
Do you think they're wrong? Do you think
no,
that
I don't.
Do you think that it's
I think
Right.
I think
They
they're
should have
proving
booed
it.
on Sunday.
10,000 no-shows this week, 5,000 no-shows the week before. What's it going to be the next home game? 15,000, 20,000? And if they get off to, like, say, a 1-7 start, how many people are going to show up to the games?
I don't think it'll get to pit levels of, empty seats, but still, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's not a pretty picture over there, but they made this bed. They did it. They decided to bring Ben back. They invested in other things that weren't the offensive line. I mean, how many times did the two of us come on this show and talk about why aren't you signing or why aren't you drafting offensive linemen? You're taking running backs and tight ends. You're signing, you're trading for corners. You're not putting enough into the offensive line. Richie, the same people that you trust and talk to over there told you that Chooks was a good left tackle. Think about that.
Yeah. Better than a right tackle. All right, let's go out to Rob in California. How you doing, Rob?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Rob.
I want to see him go to Dwayne Haskins, and I want to give you guys. Do you know there's never been a winning Ohio State quarterback since Mike Tomczak? So I think we can make Dwayne Haskins the next winning.
You know what?
Ohio
I
State
think he's got to
quarterback.
learn the offense first. I wouldn't throw Dwayne Haskins in there because I think the offense would be just as bad as it is now. I wouldn't mind seeing Mason Rudolph out there at some point. If Ben struggles this game and they can't score in the first quarter and they look like they did against Cincinnati and the Raiders and even against Buffalo, the defense won that game and special teams. If they struggle for 2 more games, I give Mason Rudolph a shot. Don't you? Wouldn't you do that? You want to win, right?
Well,
you're the head coach. You're
Right.
being judged by your performance.
Sure, but he's not. There's no consequences. They never fire Tomlin after this year. So in a way, that kind of gives him a license to get creative and to do bold things. And benching Ben for Mason Rudolph would be along those lines. Rudolph, I want him to play at some point this year, Richie, if it doesn't get better, because I want to get the experiment out of the way. If he somehow shocks me and plays well, great. Then you've got your next starting quarterback. I don't think that'll happen, but at least if he doesn't perform well, it's over, and you can move on from Ben, and you can move on from Rudolph, and you can have a depth chart next year that has Aaron Rodgers as the starting quarterback and Dwayne Haskins as the backup.
Real quick, would you do it if they were 2-6 at some point? We got to go to break here in 10 seconds. I mean, at what point is that line?
I would.
Yeah,
absolutely.
me too.
Unless Ben plays great in those losses, absolutely I would do something
Yeah,
like
because you're
that.
basically out of it at that point. All right, we got to take a break. Back in a couple minutes.